Salam everyone, welcome to Quran Contradictions Debunked, episode 11. Where does good and evil come from? An internal contradiction claimed by Alliance of the Former Muslims and Sam Shimon. Allah exposing the deniers. 3 reasons people say the Quran has contradictions and deny the truth. The first reason is people will use a falsehood, 1856, to say the Quran is wrong. And those who disbelieve dispute using falsehood to invalidate thereby the truth and have taken my verses and that which they have been warned in ridicule. The second and third reason is they don't have knowledge of the subject and say the Quran is wrong. They don't have the correct interpretation of the verse and say the Quran is wrong. 1039. Rather, they have denied that which they encompass not in knowledge and whose interpretation has not yet come to them. Thus did those before them deny, then observe how was the end of the wrongdoers. So this is a 2 and 3 problem. They don't have knowledge of the subject and they don't have the correct interpretation of the verses. And I'll show you soon, inshallah. 105. And thus we diversify, scatter the verses, so they may say you have studied, and we make the Quran clear for a people who know. The Quran requires study and knowledge of the book for it to be clear. This claimed contradiction is because of a lack of study, which will become evident shortly that these disbelievers have no knowledge. Contradiction 1. Where does good come from? This first contradiction can be found on Sam's website and on the Alliance of the Former Muslims website. So where does good and evil come from? The first claim is that 478 says, if some good befalls them, they say, this is from Allah. But if evil, they say, this is from you. Say, all things are from Allah. And 479 says, whatever good happens to you is from Allah, but whatever evil happens to you is from yourself. Why does one say, all things are from Allah, and the next verse say, evil is from yourself? This is a contradiction. The mainstream response from Muslims is that 478 is talking about all things being in Allah's control, and 479 is about moral responsibility. However, they are unable to back up this claim with evidence. According to them, the verse says, if good befalls them, they say this is from Allah, but if evil, they say this is from you. Say all things are from Allah. Whatever good happens to you is from Allah, but whatever evil happens to you is from yourself. In reality, the clear statement, say all things are from Allah, does contradict, but whatever evil happens to you is from yourself. So is evil from Allah? If all things are from Allah, doesn't that mean evil is from Allah? So if Allah says all things are from Allah, then how can evil then be from yourself? Is it from Allah? Are all things from Allah? Or is the evil from yourself? This issue occurs because 478 is mistranslated. Let's have a look. So you should read this way, and this way. This is how you read the word for word. So it says, and if befalls them any good, they say this is from, min means from, right? Allah. So they say this is from id Allah. And if befalls them any evil, they say this is from you. Say all is from, min, the id of Allah. So what is wrong with these people? Not they seem to understand any statement. For some reason, the mainstream translations are not including the word id here in their translations. They're just saying this is from Allah. Say all things are from Allah, missing the id here. So what does id mean? Id means at the point of, about, from, in the presence of. Word denotes indeed nearest. So let's say in the presence of. It's actually saying, and if it befalls them any good, they say this is from the presence of Allah. And if befalls them any evil, they say this is from you. Say all is from the presence of Allah. So what is wrong with these people? Not they seem to understand any statement. So this is the false translation. When something good befalls them, they say this is from Allah. But when something evil befalls them, they say this is from you. Say all things are from Allah. The correct translation is, and if befalls them any good, they say, this is from the presence of Allah. And if befalls them any evil, they say, this is from you. Say, all is from the presence of Allah. So what is wrong with these people? They hardly understand any statement. So it's not just all things are from Allah. It's all things are from the presence of Allah. And not are they saying this is from Allah, the good. They're saying the good is from the presence of Allah. Now that we have the new translation, and correct translation, we can start to try and think deeply about what Allah is trying to say in the verse. The reason Allah says to say all is from the presence of Allah is because they acknowledge that the good is from the presence of Allah, but they attributed the evil to being the fault of the Prophet. So Allah clarifies for them that all is from the presence of Allah, which includes the good and the bad. Notice how it says, and if befalls them any good, they say, this is from the presence of Allah. So they understand that when good comes, it's by the will, decree, permission of Allah. And if befalls them any evil, they say this is from you. But why don't they say this is from the presence of Allah when evil happens? Instead, they blame the Prophet, which is about moral responsibility. Whereas the first claim, when it comes to good, they talk about divine decree. But when evil happens, they don't talk about divine decree. They then instead blame the Prophet for moral responsibility. So it informs them, say, all is from the presence of Allah. So what is wrong with these people? They hardly understand any statement. It's really silly how when good happens, they say, oh, it's from the presence of Allah. When bad happens, they start blaming the Prophet. Why don't they say it's also from the presence of Allah? It's like when good happens, divine will. When bad happens, no, it's the Prophet's fault and not divine will. Why is half their argument divine will and the other half moral responsibility? So what is wrong with these people? They hardly understand any statement. The start of their statement is about the good being from the presence of Allah, a claim about divine will. But then when it comes to bad, they start blaming the Prophet for being morally responsible. So why is it that when good happens, they say this is from the presence of Allah, but when bad happens, they blame the Prophet? Why don't they also say this is from the presence of Allah when something bad happens? When good happens, this is from the presence of Allah. When bad happens, they blame the Prophet. This is from you. They are making an incorrect and silly claim. They acknowledge divine will when it comes to good, but when it comes to bad things happening to them, they don't say this is from the presence of Allah, but instead blame the Prophet for being responsible. This behavior is silly that Allah makes fun of them at the end of the verse. So what is wrong with these people? They hardly understand any statement. To clear it up for them, Allah has to do two things. He has to explain to them that everything is in the presence of Allah, His will, good and bad, to remind them that even when bad happens, they should say this is from the presence of Allah. And when it comes to moral responsibility, he has to inform them who is actually to blame. So they stop blaming the Prophet. 478 and 479 do exactly both of these. Let me show you. And if befalls them any good, they say, this is from the presence of Allah. And if befalls them any evil, they say, this is from you. Say, all is from the presence of Allah. This verse clarifies for them that all things are from the presence of Allah. This clarifies that everything is in the presence of Allah, good and bad. So when bad happens, they should also say this is from the presence of Allah. But where has Allah yet clarified it's not the Prophet's fault? Now in the next verse, Allah will clarify for them that moral responsibility is not on the Prophet but on themselves. 479. Whatever befalls you of the good, then it is from Allah. And whatever befalls you of the evil, then it is from yourself. So when it comes to who is to blame, they shouldn't be blaming the Prophet, but they should blame themselves. 479 is making it clear that it is from themselves, not from the Prophet, as this is a response from 478, the fact that they blamed the Prophet in the first place. An alternate translation of 479. Instead of translating hasanatin as good, it can be translated as a good deed. And instead of translating sayyatin as evil, it can be translated as evil deed. And instead of translating min as of, it can be translated as from. This translation helps better bring out the moral responsibility. 479. Whatever struck you from a good deed, it is then from Allah. And whatever struck you from an evil deed, it is then from yourself. So 478 calls out their behavior of only declaring when good happens that it is from the presence of Allah, but when bad happens, they don't say it. So it notifies them that all things are from the presence of Allah, and they should say it also in the bad. 479 calls out their behavior for blaming the Prophet in the previous verse for being morally responsible, but instead assigns the blame to themselves. The claim of contradiction comes because of false translations, where one says all things are from Allah, and the next verse says evil is from yourself. This is contradictory and unclear. There is no way to distinguish divine will and moral responsibility, since both statements are the same. All things from Allah, evil is from yourself. When in reality it says, all things are from the presence of Allah, which is about everything being in Allah's control, and the next verse says, evil is then from yourself, which is about moral responsibility. Now I'm going to show you how this is a consistent theme in the Quran and connects to other verses. So the first theme is everything is in Allah's control. In 478, say all is from the presence of Allah. Then you have 64:11, which says no disaster befalls except by Allah's permission. So a disaster cannot befall anyone except that Allah gives permission for it to happen. So it's in His control. It's in the presence of Allah. 57:22. Not befalls any disaster upon the earth or among yourselves except that it is in a register before we bring it into being. Indeed, that for Allah is easy. So once again, no disaster befalls except that Allah brings it into being. It is from the presence of Allah. Now, when it comes to moral responsibility, 479 says, whatever befalls you of the good, then it is from Allah, which connects to 1653 that says, and whatever you have of favor is from Allah. So the good, the favor is from Allah. 479 says, whatever evil befalls you is from yourself, which connects to 4230, which says, and whatever befalls you of the disaster, it is for what your hands have earned, but He pardons much. So whatever happens to you of disaster, Allah gave it permission to happen. He decreed for it to happen, but it is because of what your hands have put forth. So it is from yourself. You are the one to blame. This is about moral responsibility. This is about divine decree. Note, some people claim that because everything is in Allah's control, that means there is no free will, as seen in the Alliance of the Former Muslims article in their response to 47 and 9. This is another topic, but to make it clear, everything can be in Allah's control and at the same time free will can exist. By His will, He has given us permission to have our own will, as seen in the following verses. Surely, this is a reminder, so let whoever wills take the way to their Lord. So we have free will. And you do not will except that Allah wills. Indeed, Allah is all knowing, all wise. Only by Allah's will can we even will. Surely this is only a reminder to the whole world. For whoever wills among you to take the straight way, we have a free will. And not you will, except that Allah wills. Allah is the Lord of the worlds. We ask, how can we have our own free will while everything is in Allah's control? And Allah tells us the only reason we can will is because Allah wills for us to have a will. The Quran is consistent but provides an explanation on how free will can exist while Allah is in control of everything. Only by Allah's will can we have our own will. And say, the truth is from your Lord. So whoever wills, then let him believe. And whoever wills, then let him disbelieve. And 81:29. And not you will, except that Allah wills. Only by Allah's will can we will. As always, thanks for watching. And Allah knows best.